Lesson 19. Level B1. B1 plus. Past perfect simple. After I had. Story 1.
Philippe, 30 years old, Belgium. Yesterday was such an off day. I was supposed to give a presentation for high-level managers in big companies. I really enjoy educating people, so I was very excited. But my day didn't start well. Right after I had gotten into the car, I realized that something was wrong because the engine was making a weird noise. I didn't want to risk having an accident, so I decided to go to work by bus. After I had arrived at the office a few minutes late, my boss told me that there was no power in the conference room. Because the participants had already arrived, we decided not to cancel the event. I couldn't use my computer for the presentation, so I had to improvise. And I had to do it in the dark. A few minutes after I had begun speaking, I noticed that many of the participants weren't listening to me at all because they were too distracted. After the presentation had finished, my boss said that it was a complete disaster.
Story 2.
Annika, 17 years old, Germany. I found a fascinating article online last week. After I had read it, I couldn't stop thinking about it for a few days. It was about a young man, Tyson Steele, who lived in the snow in Alaska for 23 days after his house had burned down. After Tyson had noticed that the house was burning, he tried to stop the fire. It was too late because the fire had already spread too much. Tyson had to escape to save his life. After the fire had ended, he found a few cans of food. It's incredible that he survived with so little to eat. He slept in a cave for a few days, and then he used some wood from the forest to build a simple house. Of course, he didn't contact his family or friends because he couldn't charge his phone. He was finally rescued almost 3 weeks later after one of his friends had called the police. After he had been rescued, he requested 2 things, a shower and a breakfast meal from McDonald's. What a crazy story!
Story 3.
Emily, 23 years old, France. After my exams at university had finally finished, I went on vacation with a group of close friends. We had all worked really hard to pass those exams, so we definitely deserved some time to have fun. We are very adventurous, so we decided to tour around Europe in a camper. After I had told my Uncle Mark about this idea, he offered to borrow us his camper for a few weeks. To be honest, I was quite surprised that he trusted me that much. I was very grateful to him because renting a house on wheels can be very expensive. After we had carefully planned our trip and filled up the tank, we headed to Italy. We visited Rome, Venice, and Florence, and we stayed in each of these 3 cities for a few days. Then, we went to Croatia, Hungary, Slovakia, Austria, the Czech Republic, Poland, Germany, the Netherlands, and Belgium. After we had returned to France, we created a huge album with all the photos from our trip and shared it with our friends.
The end of Lesson 19.